is escapable. Not that it's the thought, right now that you're thinking, but...
We're going to the black cells and we're gonna get Varys. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, reading A Storm of Swords. As always, I'm your favorite host, Zach, and sitting here with me, my brother, Nate.
Apparently also the squeakiest host.
I do squeak sometimes, yeah. I like a little squeakers. Nothing wrong with a little squeaky-deaky.
It happens from time to time.
We are full spoiler, so if you haven't joined us before, this is your warning. We might say it again a time or two. We're known for doing that. But we will be talking about the whole series that is released to date that even includes the sample chapters. I don't know. We may get wild. I don't have anything noted about the sample chapters. It's just a warning.
We do too. We have the episodes out on some of the.
Well, like I'm saying, for this chapter, I don't have any notes pertaining to any. I get you. But you're right, we do. Check out our Patreon.
Well, I re-upped it, but then I'm testing it right now because I don't want people, because we didn't run it for a couple couple and so I didn't want people who might have accidentally been subscribed to get charged again. So I'm working on that.
We ain't trying to be cheap fucks.
Yeah. So maybe keep an eye out for that. They may pop up again. Who knows? There's
lots in the works here at the little Brotherhood Without Manners machine going on, so
yeah, there is.
Stay tuned for that, because there's some cool stuff in the pipeline. But anyway, we're reading Tyrion today. Tyrion 10. Last episode we were with Jon. We do love us a good Jon chapter.
Yeah.
But last we were with Tyrion. Tyrion's in the thick of it, y'all. He stands accused of regicide. Joffrey's dead, and Tyrion is the primo suspect because he poured out the poisoned wine onto the floor.
Yeah,
like
I
said.
Okay.
He poured it out.
Got it.
Just poured it out.
All right.
In front of everyone.
Yep.
And it was spotted.
Okie doke.
So, obviously, Tyrion and Joffrey have fucking hated each other for forever. Cersei and Tyrion have hated each other for forever. Cersei is blaming Tyrion. Littlefinger set up a whole bunch of shit to make it worse, and now we've got a shit stew that Tyrion is smack dab in the middle of. Last Tyrion chapter, it was him trying to gather character witnesses, of which there was one he could think of, and that was his lady wife, who isn't in the city anymore. And so that went shit all for him. Sir Kevin Lannister, his uncle, was kind of like, hey, bud, you should figure something out because Cersei's got a whole cast and crew that are out for your fucking throat.
Yeah, as he rides Tywin's dick through town.
And then the actual trial started, and indeed, Cersei had a whole cast and crew that were ready to perform on her whim, and they did. Some of them telling the truth, some of them stretching it to fit her narrative, which is that Tyrion is evil and wanted Joffrey and her dead and not alive anymore. And so Tyrion, struggling with that, struggling to keep his mouth shut, was amusing to one of the judges and struggling to gain Mace Tyrell's affection plus his father's, but he's been struggling with that forever. But Oberyn was quite perturbed by our friend Tyrion Lannister, and Oberyn came to visit him, told him a little tale of when he was a young lad and came with his sister.
When I was a young Dornish man.
Came with his sister Elia to Casterly Rock to see the demon that had been born to Tywin Lannister.
Monkey.
And how he was kind of disappointed that Tyrion was just a dwarf baby. There wasn't anything crazy about him.
That's just a baby.
That's just a baby, as Pedro Pascal would say.
Just a baby.
So things are not looking good for Tyrion. Cersei had called an end to the proceedings after Pycelle went on a whole rant about his poison stock being raided by Tyrion, which actually did happen. But said, oh, there's one more witness we have for tomorrow, but, then I'll be done. Then that'll be it.
I wonder who it could be.
So, it is the last day of Tyrion's trial, and he is unsure what he should be doing. Should he deny everything? Should he accuse Sansa and Dantos, who is also missing currently? Should he confess in hopes of being sent to the wall? Or should he roll the dice on Oberyn Martell? He doesn't know. So many options. None of them great. The Wall is not a life he had ever considered because he's a spoiled, rich, noble piece of shit, and he comes from privilege. So why would he ever consider a life on the Wall? It's the same offer Ned Stark got, but Ned Stark lost his fucking head, so Tyrion kind of doesn't trust the Wall as an actual offer.
While I get him for that, I understand why Joffrey was in power then.
Sure.
This is a Tywin thing. Granted,
much less trustworthy, I think.
Much more callous, I think. Because I do think he has a bit more of a willingness to keep contracts.
Right, Joffrey was unhinged.
But I do agree that Tywin is obviously not trustworthy. He wants to do what's going to
Cersei is also unhinged
his legacy. I could see him being okay with Tyrion taking the Wall, though, taking the Black, because
it disinherits him and all that.
Completely.
My concern is more, will he make it there with Cersei? Because she wants him dead. Cersei wants him dead, and that's pretty much where she's aiming. I don't know if Cersei would be down for the Wall, and so he may not make it there.
Speaking of Cersei, I had this funny little thought. As we know, she's going to be burning down the Tower of the Hand.
She sure is.
Do you think she's going to replace it with a ballroom?
Why?
Because that's what they're doing at the White House, so I was just curious.
Fuck you. We do this podcast to escape reality. I don't want
He does like that there is a brothel in Molestown, but he is also unaware that that place is evacuated as fuck. There is nobody there.
Well, yeah. He does think they need intelligent men on the Wall. He was told that by Mormont himself, and so, he could carve a little place out for himself there.
Again, they used to. Now they have Thorne and Janos Slynt, so they're good with the intelligent
Well, they've got
men.
Samwell. They're fine, legitimately, because Sam's got this shit. But, yeah, it's... The state of the Wall has changed. It's a little too late for even what Tyrion is picturing because, Molestown's evacuated. There aren't whores, Tyrion. And, the intelligence has been thrown out the fucking window.
Mormont's gone. You're relying on Aemon to run it with Jon, essentially.
And we just saw how that's going right now. Jon just fucking tried to chokeslam Alistair Thorne, and it was great. We love it, but that's not gonna bode well for Jon currently. So this is all outdated information. The Wall is not a great place for Tyrion Lannister right now, especially
because he sent
Janos Slynt there. He would be extra fucked. So the thought of confessing makes him physically ill, though. He didn't do it. It's the Ned Stark equation all over again. But Ned Stark was confessing for his children. Tyrion doesn't have that factor. He doesn't have kids of his own that he's trying to protect. Right. So confessing makes him feel nauseous because he didn't do it. He had no part in it, so he shouldn't have to confess. But that's the life you live when you're playing the Game of Thrones. He almost wishes he had, since he's going to have to suffer for it anyway, and, who doesn't want to kill Joffrey?
Right.
So he asks Pod, Pod, do you think I did it? Did Pod? And Pod's like, my lord, and he's like, all right.
Unfortunately, at this point, Cersei's played such a well-organized game of entrapment, playing all the stupid shit that we've pointed out that Tyrion's been doing. As much as we enjoy it, it's always just kind of put the finger in the blame.
I don't think Pod thinks he's guilty. I think Pod just is Pod and can't answer a direct question, so he's sputtering nervously. He's not Kevin Lannister. Kevin thinks he did it. I don't think Pod thinks he did. Pod spends more time with Tyrion than almost anybody minus Bronn.
Notice he's not called for a witness.
Right. And so, I don't really think Pod does think he's guilty here. I think it's that, I think you're being presented as guilty, my lord, but, I know you didn't do it. But Pod doesn't have the brazenness to say that because he's Podrick Payne, and he's adorable, and he's socially awkward. I don't think this is a guilt thing. I think Tyrion's taking it as that because he thinks he knows he's fucked, but I don't think this is Pod being you're guilty. I think you did it. I think it's Pod being it looks like you did it.
That's where I think it's more him being indecisive of I can't possibly think that you ever would do this, but somehow it does look like you did this.
Yeah.
Pod does tell him that the gold cloaks are there for him, and...
Well, Tyrion thanks him for his service, and he's like,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you want to just fucking interrupt me, that's fine.
Just
fine.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Does Pod announce them? I didn't think Pod announced the gold cloaks, does he?
Because he arrived announcing them.
Look at him.
He had shown up and was like, hey, just so you know, gold cloaks are here for you, and he's like, Pod, do you think I did it? So yeah.
Well, Tyrion thanks him for his leal service and loyalty more than Tyrion thinks he deserved.
Right.
And so, yeah, Pod was the greatest squire.
He's the goodest boy. He's like the puppy of squires. He's just little Podrick.
So, yeah, Tyrion is led to the throne room and feels the eyes upon him, as he always does. This time, I do think he is actually correct in the fact that there are eyes on him, unlike the first day of his trial, where he was like, everyone's looking at me. And as he takes his place on his usual little dais, here comes Shae. Shae's the star witness. Uh-oh, scandal, gasp, gasp. The camera photographers are clicking because tabloids are firing off. Shae is Cersei's ace in the hole here. And this is where Shae goes off, because he thinks Shae knows nothing that can hurt me.
Well, he also thinks that it's Varys that betrayed her at first. Yeah. He's like, that motherfucker, and then he's like, no, you brought her here. But even still, it's not a Varys didn't turn her. He still thinks Varys turned her over.
Yeah,
he just is taking the blame on himself for bringing her here in the first place. But I don't believe Varys had anything to do with that part.
No, sure, probably not.
I'm pretty sure Shae ran to the fucking queen and was like, let me help.
Because, I like Tyrion going like, Shae knows nothing that could hurt me. And then Shae goes, they plotted it together.
Yeah, when all of a sudden she just lies. And it's that like, oh.
Ouch.
You know nothing, Tyrion Snow.
You're an idiot. Sansa and Tyrion planned it together. Sansa for revenge for her brother, Tyrion for the throne. He would kill his sister next, and then his father, and then he would rule his hand for about a year with Tommen, and then he would kill Tommen and take his throne before Tommen became too unruly. And so,
Yeah, see, she goes into the details of her being traumatized, him
because Oberyn is like, how the fuck could you know? Why would he tell his wife's maid this? Right. And she's like, well, I wasn't just his maid, my lord. I was his whore. He stole me from the Green Fork. I was to be married. I didn't want to be a whore. I was going to marry a nice little squire boy, but he had his fucking brutal clansmen come and take me, which, all the best lies have a sprinkle of truth in there. And so that is absolutely true.
Was it? I forget. Was it them or was it Bronn that went?
It was Bronn. Yeah. Bronn went and I'm pretty sure basically broke a dude's jaw.
Right.
But,
he went and beat the guy up and stuff.
But yes.
But it was that he came from the mountains with the clansmen, and it was that very battle that they arrived to that he sent Bronn. Doesn't matter whether it was Bronn or Timett, son of Timett, or Shagga.
She wasn't engaged to be married to this squire. She was a camp follower.
Right.
She
was a whore.
Yeah.
She was absolutely a whore.
And so then, she says, he kept me and used me in every way that a man could use me. And Oberyn's like, ooh, what kind of ways? And she's like, unspeakable ways, which is like, all right, so you didn't.
I know we mentioned, and I'm not going to go deeper than this, that we don't talk about modern day stuff. It's the redirection of the
unspeakable ways.
It's so unspeakable.
I haven't thought of them yet.
Right. I don't know what they are.
Yeah,
so it's not that. And like you're telling Oberyn Martell, he doesn't know about some sexual fucking
because she's like every hole of mine he used.
He's like, great.
And
can you show me?
Like, I love holes.
Awesome.
I love every hole.
I love my holes. I love their
holes.
Have
you found the hole at the back of the knee? My favorite hole.
His holes, her holes. Yeah. We like holes in Dorne.
So I put a line in my notes here. All of that I'm okay with. Shae's getting hers. She's making sure she's okay. She maybe wanted to be with Tyrion, maybe not. Maybe she felt abused by being a sex worker, maybe not. I think it can be argued either way. I have no problem with her lying here, about all of that stuff. This is where my dislike for Shae comes in. She could have left it there, and that was enough. And then she goes, he used to make me tell him how big he was. My giant of Lannister, he used to make me call her. That's too far. That is where now she wants to be cruel and hurt him.
So my question here, and it'll be even more extrapolated when she gives the look when they lock eyes, was she coached by Cersei? Did Cersei coach her and tell her, these are the lies I need you to tell?
Was she coached by Cersei
Tywin.
or was she coached by Tywin?
And so it's because we know that Tywin.
We don't know because she dies.
Right.
We don't get to know these answers. But to what degree did she speak the truth here, or was this the truth she told them? Was there any coaching, or was this all Shae?
Right.
We don't know. And again, I don't know. That's why I put the line there of all of that stuff could have been Cersei and Tywin. This is Shae. My giant is Shae, because that is her saying, whether she was coached through the other stuff or not,
she revealed this
information. Yeah,
because my thinking was that this right here is the type of thing that if Cersei had learned about, would have been that's the ticket. That's the one you need to use because it's cruel. I love picking on his stature.
Yeah.
And because of the nature of that relationship, there's that double entendre of my giant of Lannister.
Mm-hmm,
He's a dwarf, but also sexually, you have to be...
Tell me how big your dick is. Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
And so it definitely feels like the type of Cersei ploy, but that's not something that, even if she revealed everything, she doesn't need to say what they were talking about
the
during
pillow talk.
sex.
Right. They're fucking pet names for each other. You don't need to reveal. Everything else was damning enough. And that's why, I almost don't wonder if it's not Tywin. Because of the
cruel,
tell me how big your dick is, and then it's Tywin putting him in his place of I have the biggest dick in this family,
right?
And
that's
ever
what I'm
forget
thinking.
that.
He's probably making her tell him that he is
the giant of Lannister.
Right.
Yes,
Tywin is
I am the biggest Lannister there is, and there is no one bigger than me. And that's why he made her
say it, was because he was offended that.
This is
Tyrion
why, to me, Shae is unforgivable, is because of this bit right here. Everything else I could have been okay with. Get yours. I get it. But this, whether it was revealed to Cersei and Tywin and it was coached that you need to bring this up or not, this reveal was unnecessary for her. This is cruel and this is to punish Tyrion. This is to make him a joke and to hurt him. And that's where it's too far. All of this is pretty far, but this is the point where it goes beyond.
It becomes
just survival.
A personal attack, and it's not about trying to rise up. And so Tyrion...
Oswald Kettleblack is the first to laugh, which I'm very curious that he, is he going to be the first to die at some point?
Sure.
And
I'll be to laugh, the first
to die when Tyrion comes back and is fucking with Dany laying waste to King's Landing or some shit. I hope we get a repeat of Oswald Kettleblack was the first to die type of thing.
Which is fun because it also makes it brings up will Jaime help with that?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like the Kettleblacks much either at all, and so.
And then everyone else joins in until even Oberyn is everyone in the hall is chuckling except for Tywin, which kind of brings it back around to the Giant of Lannister thing where. I am 100%, and I'm not sure I'm convinced either way. I'm 100% willing to believe that Tywin coached Shae to do the Giant of Lannister thing.
So this chapter kind of had me thinking about the series as a whole, with how Tywin treats Tyrion in relation to the whores. I'm thinking now that ever since Tywin's wife died,
Joanna, yeah.
Tywin has been sleeping with whores.
Yeah.
And so
it's his shame.
He hates it, but he sees Tyrion as his punishment, which I'm pretty sure he's even mentioned before, but he sees himself in Tyrion. He is the visual representation of Tywin.
It's what Gemma will say to Jaime next book.
It's just
you think you're Tywin, but it's Tyrion. It's always been Tyrion is your father. And yeah.
So down to he hates seeing Tyrion get caught and be so, nonchalant about sleeping around. It's because he's the Giant of Lannister. He can't go around being so.
Oberyn will pretty much even say that and confirm it later, where he says, yes, Tywin ruled the realms, but was ruled at home. It was said by his lady wife. Tywin was pussy whipped. He is just like Tyrion in the fact that he is blind when it comes to thinking with his dick.
Right.
And whether that's love and adoration or It's just the whore thing where Tyrion needs to be loved, and Tywin did as well, and whores symbolize that for him. Yeah, this is more proof that what Aunt Gemma will say to Jaime next book is that Tyrion and Tywin are the same fucking human being, and it makes Tywin sick. And so, yeah, I do think that this is Tywin coaching Shae and being like, yeah, we're going to fucking scold him for thinking he has the biggest Lannister dick.
See, and that kind of is revealing to me about Shae that, again, because we can't ever see their interactions.
I know, like, damn
it's
it.
That he clearly, obviously, Tywin has more money than Tyrion because Tyrion was just spending all of Tywin's money.
Dad's money, yeah.
And so a whore, a respectable whore, will be like, yeah, the higher paying client.
And the hand currently.
Great. And,
hand of the king.
And she got used to it.
Yeah.
And so it's very much could just be oh, well, now you're the top dog. So, yeah, I'll come up there and keep your bed warm. Top lion, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyrion, of course, bitterly thinks, I saved you all your worthless lives and this city. And he says, you know what? Get this lying whore out of my sight, which I just love
him calling her a whore, especially when he's going to say the word whore again.
Yeah.
Do it one more time.
Where do the whores go? Yeah. Get this lying whore out of my sight and I'll confess. Like, that's what you want, right? Is a confession. So Shae is escorted out, and she gets kind of nervous when she gets surrounded by the gold cloaks, and Tyrion notes that, and he's like, huh. And then they lock eyes for the briefest moment, and he thinks, is it fear or is it pity that...
Shame
that I see.
Fear or shame, yeah.
Fear or shame that I see there, Shae. And then he thinks, whatever deal you worked with Cersei, yeah, like, you'll get to live it up for, like, a week or two. And then she's going to have you, similar to Tysha, fucking all the gold cloaks.
Right.
Going through the gold cloaks barracks. Just like happened to my actual lady wife.
I do think that he didn't get that correct, like we just went through, in that it's Tywin that did the discussions there. But at the same time, that's not any better, because Tywin was the one who forced Tysha
and it's not
into
incorrect.
That situation.
Yeah, I do think that Tyrion has the right of it here, of like, yeah, you'll get some gold out of it, sure, but you're still a whore in their eyes, and you're still useless and a pawn. And so you're not going to be made a lady out of it. Tywin isn't going to marry you. If it was Cersei, she's not going to marry you to a lord. Like, you're a whore. So, like, yeah, here's some gold. Now go fuck someone and be the sex toy that you are. And so Shae walks off, and Tyrion delivers his I'm guilty of being a dwarf speech, which Dinklage absolutely fucking nailed in the show. It's one of the few times I'll recommend go watch like a clip of it to get the essence. That scene is pretty much word for word, line for line. It's fucking, it hits hard as shit with Tywin doing the, you're not on trial for being a dwarf, and him, I've been on trial for that my whole life, motherfucker. And so he realizes he'll get no justice here, which absolutely is true. And he demands a trial by combat. And Cersei's like, he has that right, my lord.
Yes!
He does have that right. In case you've all forgotten, he can do that.
He can do it.
He then, that was always allowed.
Tywin Cersei is livid.
He slams his fist down on the table. Pissed. Like, he exclaims anger and shows it. And, yeah, like...
to me, it's he knows that if there's a trial by combat,
Tyrion
there's a chance
get off
he could win.
scot-free.
Whereas if he had just confessed, he could have gone to the wall. He's done with him.
Yeah.
Like, that's that. You can spread whatever lies you want up there. I don't give a shit.
Right. I agree with that. That I think Tywin is hoping for the wall here. That way he doesn't have the stain of having to condemn his son to death, but he gets Tyrion out of his fucking hair.
And that he knows that he is smart enough to know that Tyrion is smart enough. He is aware that Tyrion knows that the mountain is going to be named champion, and Tyrion wouldn't do this unless he at least expected to have a champion that could fight him.
My first take was...
He thought Jaime.
Yes, he thought Jaime. And he knows Jaime is fucking dumb enough, prideful, and they just had their falling out.
It is purely because Tyrion is not able to look over in the corner and see that Jaime's standing there. Otherwise, I think he 1,000%
Well, he does think
would
that later on that
he's
he...
too far away.
Well, no, he thinks later on, I wish it wasn't Oberyn. I wish it was Bronn or Jaime. And so, 100%. Because, yeah, Tyrion even has a line of, like, damn, it's like he took the same poison as Joffrey did, because he is fucking beet red.
And so it's sad, because it's just that he doesn't know that Jaime's there.
And, he's down a hand. He hasn't trained with his sword.
Right, like, it wouldn't be good for him if he doesn't know any of that, Tyrion, that he's lost his hand.
But it's got to be the concern for Tywin at first, where he's like, fuck, I know these boys. I know Tyrion is going to ask Jaime if he knows he's here in the city, and I know Jaime is pissed at me right now, and I just disowned him. So there go both my inheritors.
And then, while he was no mountain, he does know that... Tyrion has already succeeded in a trial by combat in this same
Sir Varys Egan, yeah.
And so
Cersei's like, Sir Gregor will be champion for Joffrey, which I do like that she says he'll be champion for Joffrey, not like the crown's
she will
champion
Joffrey's
so
cause.
It's purely...
And then Mace Tyrell asks Tyrion, do you even have a champion? Like, come on, bro. And he doesn't even need to answer, which is just
Oberyn stands, and he's like, yes, the imp has quite convinced me. And, like, that's when he notices some doubt on Cersei's face, where she's like, oh, wait, what? Excuse me?
Hold up. Wait.
Excuse me?
And the fact that he's a judge just really hits that nail home.
Yeah.
That, like, everybody in there, in that whole room, the entire courtroom is convinced Tyrion is guilty. Then Tyrion does the trial by combat, and one of the judges stands up and is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fight.
Yeah, the only way it could be more shocking is if Mace Tyrell was like, I got you.
I got you, dog.
Like, yeah, absolutely. And then it does, like, that causes the throne room to erupt in an uproar, where everyone starts hot gossiping. The photographers are flashing. They're like, oh, shit, Oberyn? And then...
Tywin's like, enough is enough.
Like,
tomorrow.
I wash my fucking hands of this shit. Fuck y'all. Kevin, let's go. And Kevin's like, okay, we're going. Yeah,
he
okay.
drops papers on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like the
yes,
nervous
sir. Yes, sir.
intern.
Let's go. We're going. Okay. Would you like a coffee? Can I? No? Okay.
I've already got a coffee right here. Yes, it's exactly the way you like it.
So, yeah, back in his cell, Tyrion is oddly at peace, and it's not oddly. It's he finally feels like he has control again for once, even though, it's risky. And so, yeah, he eats, he has a little wine, he starts singing Hands of Gold, Simon Silvertongue. Star Eyes, Silvertongue.
He's dead anyway, what's it matter?
Thinking it's almost worth death to know all the trouble he's caused, because he has completely kicked his father's plans to pieces.
Yeah.
Because any truce between the Tyrells and the Dornish fucking shattered with this.
Love it.
And so everything Tywin's been working toward in the city the last couple weeks just got fucking shot to hell. So there's some satisfaction in that, at least. He's eating, he's drinking, he's feeling a little good. Kevin doesn't come to him that night. Like, of course not. He's busy fucking fluffing Tywin's pubes for Shae's in his meeting.
And then he
and he knows he's seen the last of that uncle, which, like, no loss there.
Tyrion sleeps great. I think this is depression sleep. Like, I know he's at ease and all of that, but there's times where when you feel all right, but you're still, you know that you're just so emotionally drained and wiped.
Yeah, it's adrenaline sleep or depression. One of probably both.
Both mixed, because after a day like that where he just had his heart ripped out because of the Shae incident. The trauma of all of that, the court, and like you said, the adrenaline, the speech, challenging his father. I mean, while finally, it wasn't, I'll fight you, Tywin. Let's go.
Yeah.
He is still directly refuting Tywin's everything right there. And so, I think it's not so much that he's calm and at ease like he thinks.
No, he's not calm at all.
He's just fucked and he's white.
Yeah. And he's kind of accepting of it, it's out of my hands now. Like, I don't have to present any witnesses. I don't have to scramble in court.
Right.
Oberyn wins or he doesn't, and that's all there is to it now. And so, when he wakes, he eats a hearty breakfast, which he'll come to regret later.
Which is different than yesterday, where he couldn't eat
at all. And he asks to see his champion, which he is allowed to do. So he finds Oberyn drinking some wine, being attended to by his 4 Dornish lordlings. And, you know, they have some back and forth where Tyrion's like, should you be drinking? And he's like, I always drink before a fight. And Oberyn is so confident that it makes Tyrion pretty confident, except for a couple little things where he's like, you're using a spear. And he's like, yeah, it's the only way to counter his reach is to have some of my own.
Yeah, because there was, you know, their conversation. He does mention, you know, the drinking, and you do recall that the mountain is fucking huge. And he's like, yeah, I've taken down big men before. And then, yeah, shows the spear, which gets him all freaked out. And he's like, dude, just don't worry. I can handle this. What you should be worrying about is planning yourself a vacation to Dorne.
Yeah.
We've got the nicest beaches. We've got the best oases. You're going to love it. My brother, Doran, his brother? Yeah, his brother. You guys like the same kind of shit.
Yeah,
like
you guys would hit it off.
Castles and whatever other crap you guys like.
Plus, Queen Myrcella would absolutely benefit from an uncle's counsel.
Right there. We discussed that, I believe it was last Tyrion chapter when it came up.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is confirmation that they intend to crown Queen Myrcella as the rightful heir.
Kind of falls back into old habits where he's like, fuck, if Varys is listening right now, he's getting an earful. But Oberyn clearly gives 0 fucks now because he has what he wants and what he came here for. He gets to fight Sir Gregor and make him confess. And therefore, Tywin. And so, yeah, it's absolutely
I did also want to bring up, because I don't even know if we mentioned it last episode, I forget, the last Tyrion one, that Elia and Oberyn traveled around for a while looking for suitors for Elia. Was that actually what that was? Or was that when the Martells were planning the initial, you know, we're going to get a lot of that in feasts with Arianne and getting Dorne the kingdom? Was that when Doran was making those plans? Was that the guys that they were, we're looking for a suitor for Elia, but we're going to be laying these little plans?
Well, yeah, because we know that Quentin was promised to Daenerys.
Right.
And Arianne, I believe, was promised to Rhaegar. And so I do think that these two were for the Lannisters. Let's shore up that Casterly Rock gold, motherfucker. And so, yeah, you get the Westerlings, you get the Targaryens, or the Westerlands, and you get the King's Land. Yeah, I do think that this is what this was. I do think also we learned that Lady Joanna and their mother
were friends.
They were close. And so there was kind of some conspiring here. This may have been during the time when Aerys was being a fucking psychopath. And so it's just, it's very interesting backstory here on...
Yeah, we learned that Elia was going to be... one of her suitors was Baelor Hightower.
Yeah.
And Oberyn completely ruined that. But
Oberyn
ruined quote unquote
every suitor.
Because they were promised for the Lannisters.
And he insulted the shit out of them.
Is how I'm thinking it was. That they weren't intended to...
Sure.
Or that's what the mother wanted.
But this is where Oberyn's guilt comes from. Because
if he
had shut his fucking mouth and let Elia fall for Baelor Hightower, who Tyrion notes, handsome, rich, high station.
He was made fun of and caught the worst reputation because he accidentally passed gas, and Oberyn called him Baelor Breakwind Hightower.
Which made Elia not be able to take him seriously.
And then Tyrion thinks he is now known as Baelor Brightsmile.
Right.
Like, this guy's...
dashing, handsome motherfucker.
Right. He's the Hasselhoff in the height of his popularity.
He's spokesman for Crest fucking White Strips, Yeah, and Elia could have been happy in fucking Old Town with her children alive. And so it's this is pretty much where Oberyn's dogged nature of getting vengeance for her comes from, because he feels somewhat responsible that she ended up with Rhaegar. That is what this reads as to me, is him being like, yeah, so without me running my fucking mouth, she probably would have fallen for Baelor and could have convinced mom and dad of hey, I want him instead. But she got used in the Game of Thrones and ended up marrying Rhaegar. And we'll keep going here.
Yeah, while they were in Old Town, they actually had learned of the news of Tyrion's birth.
Joanna
and
died.
death.
And their mother continued on. They thought about canceling the trip, but they continued on. Tywin outright refused that Cersei be married to Oberyn, saying that she was meant for Rhaegar. And then Tyrion's like, well, Elia married Rhaegar, so your mother kind of won that one. And Oberyn's like, oh, but did she? Because Tywin never forgets a fucking insult, as the Reynes and the Tarbecks can attest. And now my sister. And so right there is Oberyn revealing that's why he fucking hated our family, because Cersei didn't get to marry Rhaegar, my sister did, and so he sicked the mountain on her to fucking kill her, to murder her, because it was...
So that we could try to make...
We got one, not even make at that point, we got one up on...
No, I absolutely think it was at that point too.
That was the fall of...
to make Cersei queen by marrying her to Robert.
Well, right.
And so, yeah,
but
it was all part of that, because he was so mad about that.
Yeah. It was the, like... Cersei is going to be queen. It's not marrying Rhaegar anymore because the Targaryens are fucking dead. No. But Elia and her children she gets to watch her children get murdered. She gets raped, and then she gets killed. And so,
since that wasn't an offer that was accepted, she goes, well, then how about Elia marries Jaime? And he's like, no. Jaime's the fucking shit,
You can have Tyrion.
Bro. You can marry her to the demon monkey.
And Tyrion's like, oh, which was seen as an insult. And Oberyn's like, even you can see it was. It was an insult.
Right.
And Tyrion thinks it all goes back and back and back to our parents. We're all just puppets dancing on the strings of those who came before us. And our children will do the exact same thing.
So this is where I think we get one of our biggest clues that he's going to align with Dany.
Breaking the wheel. End it all.
It is all about that heritage.
Generational trauma needs to fucking end. It can't continue like this with this game of, and it's a showism, but Dany's saying, Stark, Baratheon, Tyrell, Hightower, this one's on top, then that one's on top, and on it goes like spokes on a wheel. And it can't fucking continue because it does pass down generationally. Look at Tommen. Look at Myrcella. They are already... Look at Quentyn. Look at Arianne. They are already
married
engaged in this fucking game of who's who.
And to a lesser extent, Sansa was. And then at the
100%
Arya
not a lesser extent.
I would say the only reason I'm saying a lesser is because all the other ones, it was before they were even toddlers that they were promised.
Yeah.
Whereas Sansa
Ned
was 13.
Ned did manage to keep Sansa out of it for a hot minute. You're right. Yes. And so, it's great. So they're heading to the Outer Ward because that's where the fight is scheduled to take place. A bunch of people show up. There's no television, so it's their entertainment.
And speaking of no television, I would like to point out the major difference here between the TV show and the book is that this is not taking place in a big coliseum like they show in the show. It's
not really a coliseum. It kind of feels Outer Wardy to me in the show.
In the show, it's Tywin's up there in this little fucking booth.
Yeah, they've got a box.
This is a big crowd. This is just a big fucking circle of people in a big open plaza, essentially.
Tywin is sitting with his boy, and Tommen isn't present currently, and Tyrion's grateful for that. The High Septon comes out and prays his prayers, saying the warrior will grant strength to the right man. And this is where one of the Kettle Blacks brings Sir Gregor his shield, because Gregor's standing there like a fucking crazy-ass motherfucker. It's just very cool the way he's painted. He's got both of his hands grabbing the cross hilt of his sword and shit. And Gregor's shield has been painted over. The dogs of House Clegane have now been replaced with the 7-pointed star. And Tyrion's like, oh, nice, Cersei. Like, I don't think the gods will... But, like, what a fucking just funny image in my head of, like, Cersei being like, no, you can't do your hair. Like, we need to appease the gods.
Right. You're representing
bitch,
Joffrey.
Cersei? Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck actually was going through her head?
So I also feel like this is a fun... probably unintentional by Martin, but it's the beginning of stripping Clegane of anything that he is. So when Qyburn comes in, starts rezzing him, it's just removing any person from the
you're not a Clegane here. You are Cersei's champion. You are Joffrey's champion. Right. Like, you're not. There is no concern for your being or like who you are. You are a big, tall-ass man that Cersei wants to use to break Tyrion, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. There's no loyalty here to all the service that you've given to Tywin. You are a tool, and that's all you've ever been. Just like Cersei will try to use the Faith next book as a tool.
I do like, though, because it's learned behavior, because even Tyrion here is still thinking as a tool of Tywin's.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, look at all these people. We could have opened up the dragon pits and charged them to come in here. Still thinking as if he's still the master of coin, trying to make some money.
Could have paid for Joffrey's wedding and funeral both.
Right.
LOL.
Ellaria Sand is freaking out a little bit because the mountain's fucking huge.
Right, he's the mountain.
And this is...
Oberyn don't give a shit. He's like, yeah, I'm going to kill that man.
And this is where he kind of explains his tactics, that he's going to do the same thing that Bronn had done against Sir Egan, and they're big knights. He's going to move around
what Bronn
quickly.
said he would do against the mountain.
Right,
like,
same thing.
If he was going to fight him.
But Bronn also had the wherewithal and the lack of confidence. I don't want to call it lack of confidence. I think it's brains.
Has the wherewithal. He gets too... it's emotional.
And that's what I was going to say. It's that Bronn is able to keep his mind in there with the logic.
For Bronn, there's no personal stakes.
I could probably do it by dashing around, poking him in his soft spots. But with a man that size, there's just the chance that he fucking clips me.
Yeah.
And one clip on my shoulder, and I'm going down from somebody
That's
big.
where it's unfortunate here, is Bronn was the better choice, and Bronn was smart enough to get
because
the fuck
of the
out.
lack of emotions.
Because Bronn has no personal stake in this fight, and Oberyn absolutely does. So they begin, and it goes out pretty much exactly like everyone hopes it would, with Oberyn being the quicker. He is no hits are actually landed, but he's dancing around him, wearing him down, making the mountain both angry and tired, as he constantly is shouting for Elia, for her children, and trying to get Gregor to
taunting
confess.
him, essentially.
And it's pissing Gregor off. He's like, what the fuck? Did you come here to talk, or did you come here to fight? And they're dancing around. A stable boy gets unfortunately caught in the mix, as Gregor just gets madder and madder, and actually his shouting causes Gregor to kind of go into a rage and lop the top bit of his head off.
Similar to how the horse got killed way back when.
The sun comes out, and Gregor's instinct
of the battle,
where
it's showing that Gregor isn't just a mindless fool.
Even Tyrion notes it, that like there's a cunning fighter in
he
there.
knows how to fight,
because he immediately positions the sun at his back,
which is awesome in my opinion, because then we also see how much more brilliant
that Oberyn accounted for it,
because he uses the reflection of the sun off his own shield, his own little tiny. He has a little buckler shield, little guy, and he's just like, oh cool, bling, and just shines his light right in his eyes.
It's the sun adorned, the sun spear, like the sun spear, yes. And so Oberyn shines it, which causes Gregor to lift his shield to get rid of the glare in his visor, which he lifts up his armpit, and that's where Oberyn is able to first get a piercing blow in. It pierces into his armpit. Everyone hears Gregor grunt. The blood starts to flow.
And right before this, Ellaria leans to Tyrion and says,
he's toying with him.
Oberyn's just toying with him.
Yeah, and Tyrion rightly is like,
he's too big to be any man's plaything.
Please don't do that.
Don't toy around.
And so, as soon as he gets that puncture, Tyrion's like, fall down and die, damn it. Please fall down and die. Like, just with that one, just end it and be done. But Oberyn isn't here just to kill him. He is here to hear a confession. So he continues dancing around. He gets him in the back of the knee, which drops Gregor down. Oberyn is in control, or feels he is, and does the running, leaping Elia, and stabs him and pins him to the fucking ground with the spear, which breaks.
And then he retrieves Gregor's sword.
Well, when the spear breaks, I like Tyrion notes that the snapping of the shaft of the spear was almost as sweet as Cersei's wail of frustration.
Yeah.
And so
everybody thinks it's over then.
Everyone is convinced that, holy shit,
it was over.
It is over. He has him. He is done.
You just had to keep your distance.
But
he could have just stood 10 feet away
and Oberyn
talked
even
his
says,
shit.
like, if you die without confessing and saying her name, I will hunt you
Pedro
through
Pascal
all seven hells.
Killed that scene with it. No, you can't die yet.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he grabs his greatsword, and Tyrion says, or it says, that whether he meant to behead him or put the sword through his visor, his eye slit, Tyrion would never know, because quick as can be, Gregor grabs him and pulls him in like a lover, one arm kind of embracing him to him. And this is where Gregor does confess. He says, Elia Martell, I killed her screaming whelp.
He corrects him because he was like, actually,
well, he tells him the order that I did these in.
Right, it was that because Oberyn was,
which
is, you raped her, you killed her children.
It's a disgusting, horrible reveal that Gregor knew exactly who Oberyn was this whole fight.
Right.
He knew exactly what he was referencing. He knew exactly who he was screaming for justice for. And he was just ignoring it, which makes me think that that's why he went so savage on the stable boy. The screams were reminding him of the screaming whelp that he killed. And then, so he absolutely... First, he sticks his fingers into Oberyn's eyes. Then he makes splinters of his teeth by punching him in the mouth. And then... and he's following this up with, I killed her screaming whelp. And then I raped her, and then I smashed her fucking head in like this. And
like this.
Ellaria Sand screams. Tyrion is on his hands and knees, puking up all of that lovely breakfast that he had had, and Oberyn Martell is quite dead. Tyrion disassociates for a hot minute, and when he kind of comes to, he is being escorted, not back to his cell, but to other ones, and he's thinking to himself, I let the Red Viper carry my life in his hands, and he dropped it. And he thinks it was a little too late that he realized that snakes don't have hands. And then he starts laughing hysterically, which is horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, that's that. You're
deranged.
You've accepted what your fate is.
And he's being brought to the black cells, and he's like, yeah, of course, they're not going to waste their breath on dead men.
Yeah, you're taking me to the black cells? And he's ignored. And yeah, they won't waste their breath on dead men.
And it's such a great image of like, yeah, he's being taken to the black cells because that's where they take the lunatics, the insane, and he currently right now is
ones who are destined
so
for death.
Hysterical.
That's where Ned was kept.
That he is going insane a little bit because the snake with no arms dropped his life.
I do also think it's fun there that we are told he's being taken to the black cells, which of course is that ominous, oh, he's done, he's fucked. We also do know that because of Ned, when Varys was visiting, there are ways in and out of those cells. And so we are already have that little plant of, oh, we're going to this horrible place that we as the readers know is escapable. Not that it's the thought, right now that you're thinking, but...
We're going to the black cells and we're gonna get Varys.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so, Tyrion is fucked. Oberyn's dead.
Oberyn's gonna die.
I hate it. Yeah. He had him.
It's so unfortunate.
He fucking had him.
He
had him. And
that's the end of Tyrion 10.
Gregor's a monster. Gregor's a fucking monster.
We've known that.
He knew, though. Like, it's that...
It's
and
so
it doesn't,
much worse.
It didn't register with me on the first reread, the second reread, until this reread, that, like... He corrects the order. He knows he is a fucking monster.
It's that the whole time he's dancing around and fighting, it's that, nope, you're wrong. You're wrong. No, I
killed the baby first, and then when her blood was on my hands, that's when I raped the mother. Ugh.
That's no good.
It's vile, man. And so, like, I don't know what happens to him, but he kind of gets what he deserves, whatever Qyburn does, and, like, turns him unzombified, because this man is a psychopath.
Yeah, I don't even think we mentioned it once. There is poison on the blade. It was shown dripping. Tyrion was like, I don't know if it's poison or oil from sharpening, whatever.
It's
but
both.
He's poisoned as fuck. I am so much more excited for the Dorne chapters.
The Dorne storyline, me too.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I want to put a pin in the Oberyn and Elia going around, as you said. Like, what was the scheming that was going on there? Because I would like to revisit that with Arianne and Quentin and learning, like, was there more to it than just marrying Jaime and Cersei to Elia and Oberyn, or was that the actual plan? And so I'm very excited for Feast, specifically after this chapter. R.I.P. God bless Oberyn Martell, a real one.
The gods didn't bless him. Or
Gone but not forgotten. My God did, okay? So fucking excuse the shit out of you. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. I'm not okay. If you're grieving like me, write in and let us know. Join us for the next episode.
Yeah, it's Dany's last chapter next
Dany's
episode.
6, Dany's final chapter in A Storm of Swords.
It's a big one, so I'm expecting a bit of a longer episode.
Yeah. This is where Dany should be going into a little 5-year gappy gap, but that doesn't happen anymore. So she decides to stay and rule as a ruler. And so we'll get to wrap things up with Dany, and then
it'll be a long time before we jump back into that Myronese knot.
It will be a very long time before we're checking in with Dany again. So join us for the next episode where we'll be sending Dany off with one final storm chapter until we meet again in Dance.
But yeah, we're coming real close to the end of this book here.
Yeah, we
so
is.
We're really enjoying the end. Like we said, there was that hump of the Red Wedding that's been chewed up and spit at and discussed and overly discussed. We're really, really excited to be getting into Feasts here pretty soon.
Yep. Stuff that can actually be theorized and postulated on.
We did get an email. That was a fun one. I don't think we're going to go too deep into it.
We didn't confirm or deny or ask whether or not we could read and share and stuff. So I'm not going to. I just do want to shout out Brianna and just say thank you for the email. Perhaps we'll reach out and maybe on a future episode include your fun little theory. But it was fun. It was a very interesting question.
It's a neat thing to contemplate. Looking forward to, especially with we'll be seeing a lot of those types of characters that would be involved in her.
Well, yeah, it was a theory postulated to us about some baby swappage and knowing Jon, what he does with Monster and Gilly. Well, Gilly's son is Monster with Dalla's baby. Yeah. It was a very fun theory.
Yeah, neat ideas. So we'll definitely dive into it a bit more.
Yeah.
If you want to message us like she did, they did. I didn't.
They is safe, I think. Safer.
Without Manners Brotherhood at gmail.com. As we mentioned, the brothers are stewing up some good stuff here.
Yes, we are.
I think we're going to have some major announcements coming up here in the next few weeks.
It definitely coinciding with the end of this book, we will have a pretty fucking major announcement. So stay tuned for that.
We're getting close to that number. YouTube, you guys are fucking great over there.
YouTube is quickly becoming one of my favorite platforms.
Keep
just
popping
because
off.
You guys are being super interactive over there. We love the comments that we're seeing. We appreciate the hell out of you guys.
Again, we're about to break that little hill of 100. So low numbers, but we're happy with every one of them.
It's great to see.
Tell your friends.
Emails coming in. It's great to see comments on the YouTube. That just kind of gives us a little jazz in what we're doing. And makes us, anticipate getting into the booth to record again.
A little pep in our step.
So, yeah, Dany 6. Join us for that. Keep tuned because we have some huge announcements coming up. But I think that does it for this one.
I agree, yeah.
For
I think
Tyrion
so.
10.
I think that's that. So, we'll catch you on the next one.
Valid to Harris.
Peace.